From Mamma Mia, welcome to The Spill, your daily pop culture fix. I'm Laura Brodnick.
And I'm Anne Vernon.
And boy, do we have a special episode for you today.
Ooh,
I nearly
so
said an episode you'll want to sink your teeth into, but I was like, don't be that lame that quick.
No. I think you can be that lame that quick.
I think that's what we're here for, because this is our brutally honest review of Twilight.
What?
So should we play some moody Twilight music?
Yeah, what's the
there?
theme song? I tried to sing it
Please
and then
don't.
you said I wasn't good at it.
I just think that you started singing the Indiana Jones.
No, I always go to
That's
Indiana
okay.
Jones.
We're just definitely not going to waste airtime on that. So,
Sorry, listeners.
a brutally honest review of Twilight. We should say Twilight could mean many things. It could mean the Twilight Saga, which is all the movies.
It could mean the time of day.
Okay, yes, I wasn't going to go there. But
Really honest review of the best time of day.
Yeah. Some depending what time I've been to sleep, I guess.
I quite like dusk.
Oh, I like dusk too. There's something a bit magic in the air. I also like, like midnight, the witchy hour. Anyway, this is not a review of times of day. This is a review of the 2008 movie Twilight. So we're doing the movie because it has been 20 years this week since the first Twilight book by Stephenie Meyer came out.
Isn't that insane?
Insane.
This is one of the first times where you've said something like, it's been this amount of years since this, where I was there for the beginning.
Yeah. Because normally I'm talking about stuff from my childhood.
Yeah, but
that's
even
been
stuff that's
20
been
years.
like cult, like when we did Clueless and stuff.
Yeah.
I missed the beginning of that. So this is like one of the first times where I'm like, I was there for it.
Yes, so you're in the weeds
I
for this
understand
one.
the importance.
So we're going to be going through the Twilight movie, and I should say we do have a third voice in the room, our producer, Monisha.
Twi-Hard.
Twi-Hard.
Because we needed a really diehard Twi-Hard fan. And it should be said that Monisha is the executive producer of The Spill, who does all the things. And you make a lot of the decisions. But I think it was your first week here that you put in our diaries for this week that we were doing a brutally honest review of Twilight. That's how much you've wanted this.
Yeah, as soon as I found out about the concept of a brutally honest review, I was like, where do we work Twilight in? What's the next Twilight anniversary? Yeah. And there's been so much Twilight buzz this year because it is 20 years since the book. So I was like, now's the time.
I love it. We love a producer who comes in and forces their own ideology on the host. Did you project it onto the pod?
Did you ever write Twilight fan fiction?
Oh.
I didn't release it, but I dabbled in my own.
Say yes.
I dabbled in my own life, my personal life, like for myself, just for me.
Oh, so what, you wrote Twilight? What did you write?
Well, I just wrote. So I got a little.
Did you write yourself into the book?
I didn't write myself in, but after 50 Shades of Grey,
creative direction. 50 Shades of Grey.
Well, 50 Shades of Grey started as Twilight fan fiction,
so
and I was
true.
like, that took off, and it became this huge, massive thing, and that kind of inspired me. So I dabbled, but it didn't take off.
Okay. You didn't judgment. You didn't like. No, I'm not judging you.
No.
I don't. I've personally never written fan fiction, but I do it in my head all the time. So I'm not judging you for that. But you didn't have any of the because the whole thing of fan fiction is that people take two characters who wouldn't normally have sex and make them have sex. That's correct.
Yeah.
Mine wasn't that sexual, but it was very in the werewolf sort of universe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
La push,
So
baby.
important. So important. So the Twilight book came out. It became a huge hit. And Stephenie Meyer also said that she had a dream of an Edward-like figure coming in her room and her watching her sleep. And that's why people have ripped apart the character of Bella Swan so much over the years. It's that it's the ultimate kind of author insert where you can just tell the author, which no judgment on.
Yeah.
The author has very much written themselves into a scenario they wish they were living in such a way that sometimes the character seems thin because it's just the person who's writing it. Okay, so the book comes out. We're going a deep cut here because this is like really the first time, that we've all experienced the same thing. Yes, I'm so young.
You're so cool and hip.
Or that we've all experienced the same thing. So, Em, what was your first memory of the book or movie? Which one came first for you?
The book. So
yes, that's the correct way.
I read the books when they first came out. I don't know, I think I was a bit young for them, but my mum was very cool and she allowed me to read them. My mum was also the type of mum that was like very into kids reading. Like she was like, my kids have to read. They always have to have a book on them. It can't just be reading for school. You always have to read. And I honestly think that's how I got into this profession. But Twilight was probably the first book after Harry Potter where she was like, oh, now you're starting to read stuff that I can also read. So I read Twilight and she knew about Twilight because that was all me and my friends could talk about. I was probably 10 years old when the first Twilight book came out. So she would read every Twilight book. So after I read Twilight, she would read it while I was reading New Moon. So we'd like take turns. And I honestly think it like solidified my friendship with my mum. Like that was probably the first time when I was about 10, 11 where I was like, oh, my mum's my friend.
Yeah.
And then when the movies came out, oh my God, this is so wild to me. But the Twilight movie was the first ever early screening I've ever gone to.
Really? That is the power this whole franchise had over people. So I'm obviously a bit older than you, so I was reading the books through uni, I think it was, and I really liked them, but I was only reading like romance and fantasy at the time.
Yeah. And were you reading them because you were like, oh, I have to read it because everyone's read it?
No, I think I picked them up really early because like that was my genre that I read in. So I remember reading Twilight like literally when it first came out before it blew up. I didn't even mean to be a trendsetter at the time. And then I just loved that kind of stuff. I struggled with it a bit because I had been raised on a school of like things like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, where I was like, so we're just not going to kill any of these vampires. Like she's just going to date them. I can't be on board with this. But I remember reading the books and just thinking, and here's a hill I'll die on, is that Stephenie Meyer's a good writer. And I think people think she's not. Yeah, I think people think she's not. I've read all her books, not just the Twilight ones. She has a very intoxicating way of writing, and these books, yes, the premise is very sexy, but there's a lot of sexy vampire books out there.
Yeah, and the fact that you can write something that's so appealing to both children and adults is such a good testament to your writing.
And she taps into this, and I think the reason, again, there's so many vampire books out there and they don't all take off like this. She tapped into something that, again, is like a bit cringe for her of the author insert thing, but she tapped into something is that like everyone thinks but no one says out loud, is that, and the reason why teenagers and adults like these books so much, it taps into this moment in like your teenage years where you're like everything seems dull and small. Like Bella in the beginning of the book and the movie, when we first introduced to her through her voiceover through both, it feels like she's sleepwalking through her own life. And this huge, exciting, sexy thing happens to her. And all of a sudden, this otherworldly creature just thinks that she's the most precious thing in the world. And I think secretly, like, teenagers and adults both kind of want that.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want that?
That's what they tap into. So that was our first takeaways. Manisha, how did you first read the books?
Well, you're laughing because you know.
I do know.
The mother-daughter bond was also a big part of this series for me. So I remember...
Don't compare my mother-daughter bond to what you did with your mum.
Sounds so wrong what you did.
Do not.
So I remember seeing a girl on the school bus reading Twilight, and she was a girl I really want to be friends with. We became friends. She was really cool, and I was like, she's reading this book. I need to read this book. So I went home and told my mum about it. And my mum was like, I was probably like 8 or 9. And she was like, it seems a little adult for you. What if we read it together? 1 page by 1 page. So she would read a page out loud and then I would read a page out loud, which sounds quite sweet. But then when you get to Breaking Dawn and you're like 14 and they're like having sex on their honeymoon.
And she's got bruises all over her body.
Yeah. And he's like, I don't want to do it. I'll break you. Like, bit weird to read to your mum. I was like, could we stop this tradition now?
I never thought about you. Because when you say it sounds a bit sweet to start off with, no, it doesn't, just so you know.
You're like, I was 9.
I did that with my mum as a kid too. Like she would read a page, I would read a page. But we did that with Little House on the Prairie. That's the correct book to do that with. No shade to your mother. I'm sure she's lovely. But at what stage was it in Breaking Dawn that you were like, hey mum, let's not read these sex scenes out loud to each other. Maybe we'll just go read them separately and that's fine.
Well, in Eclipse, when Bella first tries to have sex with Edward, but he's like, I don't want to steal your virtue.
Yeah.
I was a bit like, oh, it's getting like a bit weird. Like maybe we could just read them separately. And she was like, oh no, but we've like started them together. I feel like we should see it through. And then I remember her saying at one point, they're married people having sex. What's the issue? And anyway.
Which is so fair.
It's just, actually, good point.
Just don't want to read it with your mum anyway.
It's more so, again, like in all like the sexy makeout scenes and stuff before that. But anyway, everyone has their own journey. So the movie comes out in 2008 and is a huge success and spawns this big franchise, which again, not every teen book does that. A lot of teen books come out with a huge fan base. Mortal Instruments comes to mind and they falter. This one did something interesting is that it wasn't first made as a blockbuster. It was made as a smaller indie film and Catherine Hardwicke was tapped to be the director and she had come off really kind of more gritty, prestige, independent movies like 13 and she tried to make Twilight not as a teen fantasy, not as a romance, as more of a kind of dark,
artsy,
very artistic, artsy, gritty kind of movie, which to be fair, I actually think works really well. It's very atmospheric.
Yeah, but it was just like one of those things where there's no stopping the teenage girls.
Yeah.
Like they knew they were going to get a movie and they knew they were going to watch it and love it. And it's so funny when I rewatch Twilight now as an adult, I imagine myself as watching it as a kid. I would have been 12 years old when it came out, I think. And I was like, there's no way you would have liked a movie like that ever at that age.
Really?
Yeah. It's just such funny, like, the scenes are just so, now they're like memeable.
Yeah.
Whereas like in the moment I was like, this is so deep and artsy.
Oh, yeah, maybe. I mean,
and I felt like an adult watching it.
Yeah, because it does shy away from any of like this, and I think it as the movie goes along, it becomes more like blockbustery, it becomes more like more young adult, it becomes glossier.
Yeah.
But in that first one, it does feel like you're it's like almost set in the same world as 13. Which, have you guys seen that movie?
No.
Holy hell, yeah, that is gritty.
Yeah.
Like it's the same kind of, and that's why Nikki Reed was cast as Rosalie, which I know people really didn't like her casting, and part of me does think like, she does feel out of place a little bit for that character, but she started in 13 and she also co-wrote it with Catherine Hardwicke, I remember. So that was Catherine Hardwicke wanting to work with an actress that she had a really good relationship with and she thought was really talented, and so put her in that character. And
yeah, but it works for like the other generation because that's the first time I saw Nikki Reed.
Yeah,
me too.
In movies. So in my head, I'm like, oh my God, she's such a badass.
Oh.
Like she's always going to be in that badass role.
Really?
Yeah,
I was just like, oh my God.
Because that was my introduction to her.
I was like, that's Sadie from the OC.
Yeah, see, it's so weird. And like now she just has these two alter egos.
It's interesting because when Stephenie Meyer wrote the book, and it became really successful as she was writing the sequel, she was like, she knew it was going to be a movie, and she knew exactly who she wanted to play Edward Cullen. Do you know this?
No.
Henry Cavill.
Henry Cavill. There's a whole blog post that she wrote in 2007.
If it was Henry Cavill, I probably would have been Team Edward.
But he was too old by the time they made the movies. That was the general consensus. But I would have put up
has
with
like
it.
some black curse on him.
I saw, because he is so
hot.
Henry Cavill is also so aware that he was nearly Edward Cullen, because he has said in interviews that he knew that Stephenie Meyer was desperate for him to be Edward Cullen, but he said like at the end of the day it wasn't her choice. And then who she wanted for Bella, I mean everyone auditioned for Bella. Lily Collins, Michelle Trachtenberg, Jennifer Lawrence went in and said she didn't understand what she was auditioning for. She's like, I just went into a room and they handed me a piece of paper and they were like, act, monkey, act. And she walked out being like, I don't know what the hell that was. I'm not doing that movie. And then she saw it at the cinema and she was like, oh, okay. It's a thing. But Stephenie Meyer really wanted Emily Browning.
Oh.
Which I thought her and Henry Cavill together.
Oh my God.
Somewhere in an alternate universe.
Who did you want as Jacob?
I want that movie. What's his name from Teen Wolf?
Wait, Tyler Posey?
Yeah. Tyler Posey.
I think Taylor Lautner's perfect.
Yeah.
But Tyler Posey had, no wait, did Teen Wolf come after
Yes.
Twilight?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then he got his wolf experience.
Yeah, he still got his wolf experience. Yeah, I think maybe he auditioned for it. I think they were the ones that she wanted for those particular roles. But it's interesting because they auditioned so many people for Bella and Edward, because of course the whole thing was going to hinge on that. Robert Pattinson had been in Harry Potter movies at that stage.
Yes, Cedric Diggory.
Yes. And then he was
R.I.P.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
That's actually how they came across him. They were looking at people from the Harry Potter world to see
who they could bring over.
Which is a good like strategy, because like I feel like they were the blueprint for like both children, but also being able to go with your parents and your parents also enjoying the movies that were Harry Potter and the book series that came before it. Like, and then having that same fan base consistently throughout each movie. I feel like that's such a good blueprint for Twilight.
Exactly. And Kristen Stewart had been a child actor, very successful, but she obviously didn't have a huge fan base. Like, she wasn't coming into it as big as some of these other actresses. But Catherine, and I know you love this story, Manisha, you creepy girl.
The bedroom story?
Yeah.
Yes.
What?
Okay, so Catherine Hardwicke. Also, she just should have made all the movies, because that woman is like a method filmmaker.
Yeah.
So she got Kristen Stewart and Robert Pattinson to come to her house to film essentially film the chemistry test for Twilight. And she got them to do a scene, and then she got them to make out on her bed, and she was filming them with like a little camcorder.
Is it allowed?
And shit, it would be allowed now. It was
It's
all about
the kissing scene on the bed where he like can't stop himself, and then he's like, stop.
And then he like throws himself back and he hits the wall.
And she said their chemistry was undeniable, which is obviously why they went on to date for many years. Their chemistry was undeniable. They got so into like pashing and kissing and all this sort of stuff on her bed in her home while she's filming them for a chemistry test, that she said Robert Pattinson took it too far and she always had to like pull him back, and he ended up tumbling off the bed.
Palpable chemistry. Clearly, they
But she
couldn't
can
hold
barely
back.
speak.
I love this story so much. I remember watching the interview or wherever it was that she said that, and I was like, wow, like to have a chemistry like that cuts through the room like a knife. But then it is creepy that it's in her house. I do agree if a man was doing that
I love
with
how
like two
that's your
teenagers.
reaction. My reaction's like, I feel unsafe.
No, afterwards,
like that.
afterwards
Like, get me in that
Kristen
room.
Stewart said to her, I will do this movie and it has to be Robert Pattinson.
Oh.
No one else after that, after the bed scene.
I mean, I'm sure anyone would say that.
Yeah.
The kiss was that good.
I was like, I'll take this job, but it has to be Robert Pattinson.
Yeah, the man who just flung me off the bed
Yeah.
in my director's home.
I'm still sad about Henry Cavill, though.
He
I
wouldn't have
know.
fallen off the bed. I feel like he'd be much more composed.
And he thinks about it all the time, just so you know. Especially because he just lost his job on The Witcher.
And
Lost
then
his job
Superman.
as Superman.
And then lost his job on The Witcher.
Oh, there's a curse on that man, on that handsome, white, successful, rich man. So to the movie now, we've got the setup.
Yep.
To the movie. So it starts off with it starts off with a very artistic scene of a deer being killed in a woods.
That's right. It does
Beautiful
start off
imagery.
Like that.
Beautiful monologue.
Beautiful monologue with Kristen Stewart's voice. A lot of people have said the first page of Twilight's one of the best opening pages in a lot of books that have come out in the last 20 years.
I actually did it for a drama recital.
Did you?
That monologue.
Okay, go. Do it now.
I never put much thought into how I would die. But your face, you're like, why did you
I
do
did not
that?
expect you to fully
Yeah, I
do
thought you were
that.
going to be like, no.
Yeah.
But dying in place of someone I love seems like a good way to go.
Yeah, that's what she says.
Oh my God, and she said that as a 17-year-old. That's crazy.
Yeah. And then we have the deer being killed, and then it flips to Bella, who is a young teenage girl who is moving away from Phoenix, Arizona.
Yep.
Because her mother has married a football player, and
they
she's
want
going
to
to
go on their honeymoon.
Yeah, and they're going to go off on the road because that's his job.
Yeah.
And have some married time, and so she moves to Forks with her dad, Charlie, who you're a bit of a fan of.
Guys, as an adult woman, I think it's safe to say that Charlie is the heartthrob of the series.
He's hot.
With his moustache and his like police getup.
Yeah. And he's gruff, but like really caring. Like when he just goes
in
in
a car.
and he gets her a car and then he just changes the tires without being asked. And it's a way she's never been taken care of
So
before.
nice.
Oh my
And
God,
Bella
do I-
comes in all gloomy.
I mean, I understand
I hate the cold. I hate rain. And yet you brought your little cactus. Obviously, that's not going to live here. It's going to die in 2 seconds.
I love how we're fawning over the dad, probably for different reasons. I was like, oh, maybe it's nice to have a dad. And you're like, I want to date him. Lots of issues being worked out in this pod. We love how pop culture shines a mirror back to ourselves.
That's so funny.
So this is actually when she gets the car. That's her first meeting with Jacob, played by Taylor Lautner, who was only ever supposed to be in one Twilight movie, just the first one. And then they were planning to so he only had his contract was for one movie, and then they said because the character in the books goes through such a big transformation, you're playing the little weedy young version of the character, and then when he goes through his werewolf transformation, he becomes really bulked and sexy. We're gonna recast.
And Taylor Lautner was like, not on my watch.
Yeah.
Well, actually, Kristen Stewart was like not on my watch. She
Yeah.
like fought for him to
my God.
stay.
She may as well direct the whole thing.
She was like, I want that boy.
I want that
Yeah.
boy and that boy and that boy.
She's just picking all the boys. So Taylor Lautner then had to as
Wait,
soon
we
as
forgot that Jacob also handmade the engine in her car or something like that.
He's
That's
so
hot.
handy. Yeah, he remakes the engine.
Yeah.
And he shows her how to drive the car.
Were you team Edward or team Jacob?
Oh, we're doing this right now?
We have to.
Okay.
It's so complicated.
No,
because
just pick one.
at the initial time, I was Team Jacob because I think I was a little superficial back then. And I was just like, ooh, tan abs, you know. But then as I've matured as an adult, I think from an intellectual standpoint and a financial standpoint, because honestly.
I'm not asking if you're team Jacob or Edward as an adult.
A financial standpoint?
Also, it was like I
117.
literally just want a name.
My mind is with Edward, but my body's with Jacob. Can I say that?
Just so you know, that's not just the worst thing you've ever said.
Okay, now I actually do need the explanation.
That is the worst thing a human being's ever said.
But just think
My
about
body's with Jacob.
Think about the art, the music. Edward, he plays piano. He's probably invested in a lot of stocks over the century plus that he's been alive. All the things he could teach
No,
you.
the only
Yes.
things he's invested in is graduation caps.
Yeah, true.
Which don't retail for grades.
Just keep going.
I looked it up.
But I think with Jacob, it's just more of a visceral, like he's hot wolf, protect me. I'll leave it there.
Marry my daughter.
I actually don't hate that plot point as much as some others, but that's Breaking Dawn, so I'll leave it.
Me too.
Okay, anyway.
What are you?
Well, I still don't really know what Manicha is.
I'm half.
She said
Okay,
her
half.
mind is Edward, but her body is
I
Jacob.
was team because I am a vain person. So
Yeah.
I was Team Edward first movie, Team Jacob for the rest.
Wait, how does that make you vain? He's so like, he's not as hot as Jacob in it, physically.
That's why it makes me vain, no? Because I wasn't Team Jacob in the first movie, and then when he gets hot in New Moon, I was Team Jacob.
I see where you're coming from.
I think it was the hair. When he cut his hair, I was like, I'm all in.
You're all in.
Committed.
All in. What are you? You're Edward for sure.
For sure.
Are you not?
No. Can I just say,
You're
because
Shark Boy.
Jacob is so different to your type, though.
is he?
Yeah.
Okay, no. Edward?
You like smart guys.
I don't know where you picked that up from. My crushes are Pacey from Dawson's Creek, Dean from Supernatural, and Daryl from The Walking Dead. None of those men have ever read a book.
I still think those men align more with Edward than Jacob.
Well, here's the thing about Edward is like the initial movie and book, I'm just like, yeah, I'm into this brooding vampire, except when he's trying not to smell her. That's the worst look a man's ever had on his face. It's so embarrassing for him. But I just found him quite creepy as the books went along. And I was actually reading Breaking Dawn. I was like flipping the pages really fast because I was like, don't marry this creepy man. I really wanted her to like run away with Jacob. And I knew it wasn't going to happen, but I also just didn't want them to be together. I find Edward controlling in an intense way. And has that man ever said an interesting word? He's got no charisma. He's got no riz.
Yeah, I feel like he gave so many young girls such big complexes about what their dating life's going to be like.
Yeah. I think people like the idea of this powerful, as I said, this powerful creature loving you so much and
like
thinking
being
you're so
obsessed with
precious,
you.
being obsessed with you and like watching over when you sleep. I don't find that creepy at all. I find that lovely actually. And like all this kind of protecting you, but then the further their relationship, they start to fall in love. It's the first time I'm like, there's no chemistry between these book characters, which never happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know
it's
what
all
you mean.
physical. There's no chemistry between them.
Do you agree?
Well, also I think what didn't help in the movie was that they took out a lot of the dialogue and they just played music over it and they sat in a tree.
There's a lot of music.
Yeah. And so I think that also didn't help the
Hold on,
chemistry
Spider
side.
Monkey.
Do you know that?
I don't want
My
to
monkey
on.
man.
Do you know when Let me go.
Do you know what ruins this for me is that when they were doing all those like very physical scenes and you're supposed to see Robin Pattinson's Edward Cullen be like lifting her up and rescue her and dropping her from like and jumping with her and like he's so physical and protective and you just love that. And like when they were doing those scenes, poor Robert Pattinson, who also didn't have a license at the time, so every time you see him driving, they're just like having to tow the car.
He's driving in like his little Volvo.
He can't drive. He hasn't got a license at the time.
Oh, God.
And then he's like, yeah, I tore my glute really bad when we were doing the action scenes, so I couldn't do them anymore. And I was like,
Oh, God. Team
like,
Jacob.
dude, I'm trying so hard to have a crush on you, but you're stopping me at every turn.
Meanwhile, Taylor Lautner is in the brace, like lifting weights.
Smashing meat patties.
He's like lifting the truck behind them.
He's like, when's it my turn? Let me tap in.
Yeah, so he went, we're just not staying on track with this. So he went off and bulked up, and when he came back to set all bulked up, Kristen Stewart said that she started crying because she was so proud that he had done it and he got to keep his
I would have
part.
cried as well for different
Anyway,
reasons.
we haven't even got to her meeting Edward. Then she goes to the high school.
Yes.
And
There's one seat available in the science lab.
yes.
And it's next to him.
Mm-hmm.
And she walks into the classroom and then she happens to stand in front of the one fan in the classroom and her hair goes whoosh, 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 whoosh. And then you see the smell go towards
Transcend.
Edward. And Edward looks like he's about to shit himself.
It's not attractive.
It's not attractive.
Again, that is the
at
worst
all.
looking actor has ever had on their face.
Oh my God.
And
I know
again,
he regrets that.
I'm trying so hard to be in love with this man. He's just not letting me.
Yeah, it gave creepy vibes.
They also in the movie cut one of my favorite moments from the book, which is also science lab related, which is with the needles and the blood and how her whole fear of blood and then she faints and he like takes care of her, which I thought was the pinnacle of hotness
they
when I
did.
read it. And they took that out.
And they took it out and they replaced it with when he goes away for a bit because he had to feed. And he comes back with his hazel eyes. And then he's like, hello.
Yeah. He's like a whole new person.
Are you enjoying this rain?
Yeah.
And she's like,
He's
no, I don't like the
AI.
rain. He's literally AI.
And then we get our introduction to the Cullen siblings,
that introduction
where they all come into the
where
cafeteria.
they all glide in. You see them outside and they're like on this like moving treadmill thing. So it looks like they're not walking because they're just gliding in.
Yeah.
And then they all glide in arm in arm. And then you find out that they're all siblings.
But they're also in
But
couples.
making
And
out.
which I agree with
Anna Kendrick.
Anna Kendrick, who we'll just call her Anna Kendrick as we go through. She's so good in this movie. Everyone else talks about how horrible it was being in that rain-soaked place for so long, such long hours. And she was like, I would fly in, do one scene, fly out, had a great time. She forgot she was in the movies for a while. People had talked about Twilight. She's like, yeah, Twilight. Then she's like, fuck, I was in that. I forgot. And she's so good as that character.
She is.
I want to spin off of her.
She plays Anna Kendrick.
Yeah, she's just Anna Kendrick.
Yeah.
She's like, you know what? Those siblings are having sex and that's weird.
Yeah,
and to
like,
that
it's
I
weird.
say,
They live together.
that's fair enough.
It is true. And when they all walk in that iconic sibling scene, a really important fact to note is that Emmett, or Cullen Lutz, the guy who plays Emmett, is holding...
So the hottest one.
It depends what you like.
No, we love a dumb beefcake. Come on.
He's the hottest one.
He's a Travis Kelce. Anyway.
Yeah, he is a Travis Kelce.
He is holding this bag of eggs in that scene, and they're just like 12 like hard-boiled eggs, or 6 or 12, I don't know how many. And it's just because the actor brought that as lunch and then it just found its way into the scene. And I just always think that's so weird that he's just holding a bag of eggs as he's swinging them as he walks in.
He was trying to explain to the humans why his physique was like that. He's like, look at the eggs I eat. That explains the muscles.
That actually makes sense. And as someone who's dated a bodybuilder, that doesn't weird
Subtle
me
flex.
out at all.
Yeah. It's more that
I promise you it's not a flex.
As a supermodel who's dated a bodybuilder.
yeah. As someone who's also been in love with a 100-year-old vampire, can I just say? So then we get, I'm really trying to move this along.
Sorry.
So no, obviously this could be a 15-hour podcast. Bella is all like, I'm going to confront Edward because she's saying that he's rude to her, but I think the subtext is he thinks she smells bad because every time in the movie when she keeps seeing him, she keeps smelling her own hair.
Yeah. And you know what? Maybe she does smell bad.
And then that's
what I thought when I was a kid. I was like, yeah, you do.
Yeah,
It turns out she just smells too good.
she smells too good.
Too good. But
Imagine-
also, he's also freaking out because he can't read her mind.
Yes.
And she's the only person he can't read.
Oh, what? I mean, wow.
And she's like a
Stephenie-
tasty wicked wing to him.
Yeah.
A wicked wing that he can't
Okay,
understand.
what would be your food version of Bella? Come on.
Ooh. I mean, like a wicked wing's up there.
Something so, I mean, I guess you'd almost want it to be like really sweet or maybe something delicious.
It has to be
savory.
something that you
Like
can't
the-
say no to if you get offered
And
it.
fleshy.
Like the world's
No, it
best.
doesn't have to be. Wait, stop. It doesn't have to be flesh.
I'm so concerned
I just
about
mean,
you.
like, if someone was to offer you this food, you can't, like, you physically can't say no to. I'm not like making you choose different meats.
I'm like, oh, my teeth sinking into a succulent piece of chicken. Like, I get it. Anyway.
No, you took the word, please. Maybe like the world's crispiest, perfect French fry with like a truffle
Ooh.
dressing, and it's steaming hot, and you have to bite into it.
oh my god,
That's what I hope I would smell like to a vampire.
And then you're in love with it and you can't eat it.
Yeah.
That's so hard.
Oh no! Imagine being in love with a French fry and you can't eat it.
That would be really hard.
Wow.
I
That
understand
doesn't
Edward
happen.
now.
Yeah, me too.
We get it.
Wow, Stephenie Meyer's working on levels that we can't even understand.
Yeah.
So then we have what I think is the hottest scene in the entire movie. And I met you guys when she's in the car park and Bella, the car's coming towards her, and Edward jumps in and he goes "Pow!" and stops it with his hand.
And then he runs away.
And then he runs away.
And then the guy driving was like, Bella! Oh my god, how'd you do that?
And he keeps saying, and he's like, Bella, I'm so sorry.
Bella, I'm so sorry. I don't know how you did that, but I'm so sorry.
And he follows her to the hospital and he keeps being like, Bella.
Yeah. And then Charlie just like closes the curtain.
Charlie's regretting everything in his life right now.
And then we're also introduced to Edward's dad.
Carlisle.
Okay, when I was reading the books as a kid, I thought his name was Callisley. I called him Callisley until I watched the movie and I was like, who's Carlisle? And I was like, Carlisle.
That's so
The
funny.
biggest jump scare of my life as a child.
You're like, I don't know that man.
Carlisle.
Wow.
Oh, and like I was so certain his name was Callisley that in my head I was like, oh, they changed it to Carlisle so we could say it better.
no.
No, it's
That
just,
is how you say
it just
Carlisle.
has a unique spelling.
So that's Peter Fasinelli, who I think originally auditioned for Charlie and then ended up getting Carlisle, which I think is the better role.
Correct.
Married to Jenny Garth from Beverly Hills 90210, who played Kelly for many years.
Oh,
So he was in a
legend.
Hollywood power couple for many, many years.
Nepo husband.
Sure. I think he was an actor first, but okay, we'll go with that.
And he was a vampire first.
Yes.
So he's the one who started the Cullen clan.
Yes. And he's the one who doesn't let any of them feast on the flesh of humans.
Yeah, the vegetarians.
Yes.
So
Such a good man.
such a good man.
Is he?
So after the car scene, Bella starts getting suspicious of Edward. She meets up with Jacob. They kind of chat.
Yeah.
I think they go to a beach, right? And she invites Edward to the beach and he doesn't turn up. And
La
she
push
feels,
baby, the best line.
okay.
That's the
La
beach.
push baby. And then she feels rejected. And then some of Jacob's friends say, the Cullens don't come here.
Yeah.
And then she was like, Jacob, what do they mean by that? And
Which-
he's like, oh, you heard that, did ya?
The tension the tension build is incredible.
I got that right? Yeah, you picked that up, didn't you?
Sorry, it was as subtle as a ton of bricks. The Cullens don't come here.
The Cullens don't come here. And she's like, what do you mean by that? He's like, oh, you heard that?
She's like, oh, no, I would never ask any follow-up questions. Such a huge declaration.
And then we learn later that, like, Jacob's going through some things. I feel like that can be, like, kind of how we go through our menstrual cycle. Is kind of what Jacob was going through in the first Twilight movie.
His luteal phase.
His luteal phase.
His luteal phase.
Yeah, because he's, like, becoming a werewolf and he's getting moody and angry. And he's like, I don't
Yeah.
know why I'm suddenly getting so strong.
Yeah. It's because the Cullen family in the area is making the werewolves
Yeah.
more of them turn, right?
Yeah, there's a lot more werewolves than there used to be. And that's because werewolves don't like vampires, vice
Yes.
versa.
And then Bella
I
kind
wish
of...
we were doing a recap of the other ones. They're so much more interesting.
of
Let
what the
us know
other
if you want
movies.
that.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
stay
let us
tuned.
know if you want the other movies because this one's going so well.
I mean, this is going off the rails. But okay, then Bella discovers through her own research that Edward is a vampire. And to that I say, is she the only person in Forks with a computer? Like, she literally saw that she, like, arrived in town, looked at this weird man who doesn't go out in the sun and was like, Googles for like 5 seconds and it's like, oh, he's a vampire. Why didn't anyone else do that?
No, because what triggered her was when she went to get that book from that shop.
Yeah.
And then I think it had some words in there that she then Googled
Yeah.
from the book. And then she figured out vampire lore.
Yeah, but again,
and she's
not
also
hard.
looking at the like most dodgiest websites.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're getting a virus, girl. Anything.
Your computer
Charlie's
does.
like, why is our internet not working? And Bella's just like, is Edward a vampire?
Yeah. And will he kill me? And then they have the whole scene where they go to the other town and he saves her. And that's when they go and have mushroom ravioli, isn't it?
Yeah.
Why does that stick in my
And then
head?
she went home and Googled even more. And she was like,
Yeah.
will my vampire boyfriend eat me?
And
And I said, probably.
probably hard to say.
You're on Reddit just like, vampire-human relationship. If only ChatGPT was a thing.
Yeah, what would a ChatGPT be?
Well, yeah, how would she ask ChatGPT?
She'd be like, vampire, human, future, question mark?
Please wait for more. And then be like, can we have sex? Can
Yeah,
we
can we have
kiss?
sex?
Will he kill me? Will his family kill me? Will I kill him if I stab him through the heart with some wood?
Oh my God. TBC.
Yeah, hard to say.
Okay, so where are we up to?
So then after that, they decide that they're together pretty quickly. It goes from, like, real dating isn't like this. You don't go from 0 to 100 and come
No,
over
no.
to eat dinner with the vampire family.
No.
And they go off into the little foresty bit near the school. And then he says the iconic, so the lion fell in love with the lamb. And she says, what a stupid lamb. And he says, what a sick masochistic lion. And then there's vibes.
Oh, it's like I'm watching it. It's like I'm watching the
Are
movie.
you like watching that movie in your head
Yeah.
while we're doing this?
Yeah, it's very vivid to me right now.
What I found really funny as a kid watching this is he's standing at like the entry of the forest and she's like parked her car and she doesn't say anything to him. She just walks straight past him and he's following her and then she just starts talking and I was like, she doesn't even know he's behind her. What is she doing this full monologue and he's just not there? Like, she didn't ask him to follow her.
Wow, I mean,
So maybe she's got a sixth sense too.
maybe. Well, we do find that she has a dormant superpower. That's
Yeah,
why
yeah,
she becomes a shield. But anyway, that's skipping ahead like 5 movies. So they get together, they kiss a lot, cute, and then their biggest challenge happens, which is that Bella has to go to the Cullen house. Can I say?
And then we see him glow. We see him sparkle in the sun.
Yeah.
But like he makes her walk up the whole mountain to get to the sun. Like, why don't you just walk back out of the forest?
Okay, you've got a real thing about just like incidental exercise. And,
Yeah,
like,
I do. I feel like this gets brought up a lot in
You
our
would
Bradley
fall-
House reviews.
Yeah.
I'm like,
It's
what
like-
are the facts?
You're like, I would fall in love with that man if out of love with that man if he made me walk up a hill.
Oh my God, if a man makes me walk up a hill, I'm done.
Yeah, because later on Jacob carries her up a hill, and that's the sexiest scene in the whole thing. Anyway, again, we move on. So then she has to meet the Cullen family. Can I just say the best thing about the Twilight universe is and which I wish she'd gone and written more of, is Stephenie Meyer, this lore that she creates around all these different vampires and all their origin stories and how they came to be and how they live and like the Volturi and their rules and everything. Every time, like that's why I think I love the later books, because I'm like, I don't really care about Edward and Bella as much and their creepy offspring baby. I more care about this like intense vampire world and all these people in it. So then we get to the Cullen house and they're playing Italian music and
they're cooking in the kitchen for the first time.
Yeah.
Even though she knew they don't eat. So she said, I had lunch before. And then Rosalie gets really angry and smashes the salad that looked shit anyway.
Fair enough, though.
Which is fair. They don't know how to cook. They don't eat.
This is also where they tried to bring some like kind of quippy humor into it, which feels out of place with this kind of moody, realistic movie that Catherine Hardwicke was trying to make. Is that this is when they start trying to make it more of like a poppy kind of teen movie where they're just like, we're making Italian. How do you know she likes Italian? Well, her name's Bella. Yeah. And everyone in the movie was like, ha ha ha. And I was like,
you're like, you're ruining my vibe.
It's not kind of zinger.
But I like how they kept Emmett kind of funny throughout the whole.
Yeah, well, that was more in line with his personality.
Yeah,
And Alice, she's got that quirky, quirky girl. She's a little bit funny.
I think she's a bit weird.
Okay, she's
meant to be.
You know who's really weird? Jasper.
Oh, yeah. But he's really struggling not to eat her. Like, that truffle fry is real for him.
And from then we sort of really kind of see them fall in love to an extent. We see Charlie have to deal with the situation when Edward comes over and he pulls his gun up.
Yeah, he's the coolest dad.
Yeah, you're obsessed with him.
I love Charlie so much. He needed more airtime. That's my one critique.
Yeah, exactly.
Charlie
well, he became such a fan favorite. There's all these videos from inside, like the midnight screenings of the last movie, and you know how they have all their pictures come up the end, and like they have this extended credits because it's the end of this huge blockbuster franchise, and all the biggest cheers are for Charlie.
Aww.
Everyone's loving him. And then we come to, I'm going to go out on a limb and say one of your favourite scenes, and maybe one of yours too, Mon. Actually, your favourite ones are the sex scenes, so let you deal with that on your own time. But
there's no sex scene in this movie.
But anyway. Sexually charged scene, I meant to say.
Is your favourite scene when he's like watching her in bed?
I mean, I do like the kissing in the bed scene. But anyway, the baseball scene is wonderful. And the music by Muse. It was really important to Stephenie Meyer to have songs by Muse in her movie because she's a huge fan. And I just think Supermassive Black Hole just makes that scene.
I don't mind that music, but I find the rest of the music in the movie really weird.
Really?
Like, especially the music.
I think the music's great.
The music when they meet each other for the first time in that lab, it's like a full electric guitar just playing.
She was trying something, okay?
It was crazy.
God forbid a female filmmaker take a chance and try and make something unique.
He literally looks like he's about to shit himself. I was like,
There's also 2 Robert Pattinson songs in the movie. The one where they're in the restaurant and also the one where later on he's trying really hard not to kill her and eat all of her.
What do you mean? He's a serious musician.
2 of his songs, his own songs.
He
Robert
wrote
Pattinson.
them.
No.
And he sings them.
Yeah.
He sings?
Yeah, the one where he's like, no.
Yeah. That's him?
Yeah. That's him. He's a musician. Don't you know anything about him? That's why he and Suki Waterhouse fell in love, because they're both, at the end of the day, broody, artistic musicians.
Oh my God. I had no idea.
Are you going to go listen to all of his music now?
No.
Okay. So we have the baseball scene, is I think where we are. And I think it's safe to say that even though this just looks ridiculous.
It's like it's the perfect weather for baseball.
Yeah, it's because the lightning it's actually a fun detail. The lightning storm is happening, so that means that they can make as much noise as they want and the town will just think it's a thunderclap.
Yeah. And you know what? Fair. But it was like what I really wanted. As a kid, I didn't really understand that scene.
Really?
I really didn't understand
it. Was trying to show them because the rest of the time they're pretending to be humans. So they are so kind of reserved with like their movements and what they say. And you're meant to see them
have fun as a family.
You meant no, not as a family.
Oh,
you're meant to see them look like otherworldly creatures because that's what they are. It's the only.
So they're letting loose.
They're letting loose, and so that's why the movement. So they sped them up with the running. They're doing stunts. They
and
had
Alice was like,
yeah,
the kick. Oh my God, the kick.
They have cranes pulling them up. It's like one of the most stunt-heavy scenes because they're trying to show like this is how these mythical creatures would move when not pretending to be humans.
Yeah. Okay.
And it just ends up looking a little bit weird, but it's also an iconic scene.
Oh my God! As a kid, I was like, oh my God,
yeah.
I want to do that.
A vampire baseball league. It's all I dream
I think
of.
that scene cemented in every person's mind, like, you should be a vampire.
Absolutely. It made me want it real bad.
Some of the real sexy ones later on, more so than I could play baseball real good. Anyway, then we have the introduction of some very important characters.
And they also glide in.
And I love this scene. This is where Catherine Hardwicke's filmmaking just absolutely shines through, is that you have these 3 nomadic vampires that come through who have kind of formed a family, Laurent, James and Victoria, and the way they kind of almost appear on the field and the camera stands on them and like the music stops, and you have this real, even though it's a teen love story, so there's no real stakes to it, you have this real sense of fear about these evil creatures appearing, which I loved. I'm like, yes, evil vampires, this is all I've been waiting for this whole movie.
Especially because they're like, get behind me, Bella, take your hair down.
Yeah.
It'll mask the scent.
Oh, you guys are really weird with this movie. I want to know more about these characters because we obviously have Laurent, who is kind of very loyal to the Cullens, but also is not afraid to snap a human's neck real quick. And
He's not a vegetarian.
No, he's not a vegetarian. None of them are. And that there lies the problem, is that Victoria is a bloodthirsty vampire, desperately in love with her mate James. I love that they mate for life.
Yeah.
It's like penguins.
Yeah, it's
they're
all like
penguins.
otters holding hands in
Like
the
otters,
sea.
like little blood-sucking penguins who mate for life. And then James, of course, is a tracker, and once he locks onto a particular scent, he can't ever let it go.
Which is weird as a tracker. Like, it took him a while.
I think he did okay. He followed her for a while. He was up against, in defense of James, the human killer. He was up against the whole Cullen family trying to thwart him from finding Bella, and he does find her. Also, I actually love that James is played by Cam Giganti, who was Volchek in the OC. It all comes back to the OC.
And he's in Burlesque.
Yes.
Also importantly.
But
Who's
more,
in Burlesque?
yeah.
He's like the lead hot, sexy man. But with not long hair, so you
Yeah.
might be confused.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
he is.
But more importantly, he had come to play this evil character trying to kill Bella off the back of playing an evil character in the OC where he did kill Marissa Cooper.
Oh, so you
So
thought
this
Bella
man-
was going to die?
Well, no, I read the book, so I knew
okay.
it was going to happen. But I'm just saying this sexy teen heartthrob
All they
just
can do is kill young women.
trying to kill young teen heroines. That's his
fair.
shtick.
So at first they were like, we're just playing baseball. Do you guys want to play? And then
they
they were
did
like,
wanna
okay.
play.
But then the wind came and you see Bella's hair move. And then James goes, I see you brought a snack.
I love that line.
And then they all go, like cats.
And then it's on. And then he chases
And I think
her.
that's the first look we see of like the vampires like looking feral.
Yeah.
Where they like get into their full vampire mode. And even Bella's like, holy shit.
Yeah, it's just
That's
like, oh, I
crazy.
actually don't want to be here anymore.
Ick, ew, bye.
And it takes a
a
dark
golf buggy
turn.
back.
It gets really dark after that.
Jacob. I'm here.
Which means then that the Cullen family have to try and keep Bella safe. Now, Bella, in her defense, she's not registering the severity of the situation because she's just like, yeah, that's one vampire, but there's so many of you, and shouldn't we just stay here and it'll be fine? And she obviously wants to stay with Edward, which is fair enough. And then they make the decision that Edward has to go one way, the Cullens will try and track her down, and Jasper and Alice will take Bella to a safe house and keep her safe.
And she screws it all up.
Does she though? I mean,
Yes.
oh, come on now. You wouldn't thought. She thought her mother, so they obviously go away. He tracks her and then he tricks her into thinking that he has kidnapped her mother and is holding her in a dance studio. And Bella goes to save her mum, which, fair enough.
Okay, look.
Okay.
I love my mum.
I thought you loved her more after Twilight.
I
Obviously
did.
not.
But okay, out of all the mums to do that for, Bella, your mum ditched you for a man to go on a honeymoon and sent you to coolly ass rainy Washington with your little cactus. She doesn't care.
Let her die.
Let her, she's fine.
Just let her die.
Let her die.
Okay. Well, Bella
Because
doesn't.
then she ruined it for everyone, and then everyone's like, Bella, I told you to stay. Rats, Bella. God damn it. Edward, find someone else.
Yeah.
Any other
They're
human.
like, you were literally completely safe. He couldn't find you.
Literally,
He was-
Bella. There's
yeah.
two of us, me, Alice, who can see into the future, Jasper, who bit weird, willing to do what it takes.
We just loved the opportunity to kill someone.
Yeah, and he's
What-
like kind of newish, so he's a bit more stronger than the rest of
yeah,
us.
yeah.
Bella.
Okay, she obviously
on.
she makes a mistake by going to like not let her mother die. She gets to the dance studio
And then James is like, let me film ya.
and he
He
really
played that weird mirror game.
It's
where
quite
you're like,
sexual
"Is he there?"
tension.
What?
There's a vibe.
There's no sexual tension. What?
With
Also-
I know the video I don't know.
If he went to her mum's house to get like the footage of her mum, because we find
Yeah.
out it's not her mum, it's like camcorder footage
Yeah.
that he played for her to trick her. Wouldn't it have been easier to be like, meet me at your mum's house because I'm already there?
No, he wanted the theatrics of the dance
Oh,
studio with the
yeah.
mirror,
With the
seeing her like
mirrors.
crash
Because he's a
against
hunter.
it.
And also, as we know, he's from Burlesque. He wants to put on a show.
5, 6,
camcorder
7,
out.
8.
Can I just say, James deserved to kill Bella because he put in the work. He played the long game. He put in the work. He wasn't sloppy, and he should have. I'm just saying, he should have been successful.
Okay, but then. Because he was too busy making a movie, a feature film, if you will.
It's the classic villain thing where the villain spends way too long monologuing.
Yeah, where he's like, I waited for you my whole life.
He's been way too long monologuing.
I have been waiting for you for the last 30 minutes. I've been looking for you.
And then they end up failing because they spent too long explaining their evil plan. That's what James does.
And then Edward comes to the rescue and they have a fight, a vampire off, if you will. And then the rest of them slowly get there in their own time. But then Bella gets pushed into the glass and then falls down, and then James reaches for her arms and bites it. So he bites her arm.
And in this world, so every vampire universe has its own rules of how you become a vampire.
Yeah.
Like in a lot of different vampire lore, and this is the official from the original Dracula book, is like the vampire has to drink from you and then you have to drink from them. And then your body has to die and then you have to be reborn as a vampire. That's just vampire fact from the origin story from Transylvania, which Emily has learned in the last year is a real place.
Why are you going to call me out for that? We're not even talking about that.
Or rudely back to that. In this particular universe, vampirism happens via the venom that all vampires have coated over their teeth. So anyone who is bitten, no matter who drinks blood or who does what, as soon as you're bitten, you start turning into a vampire, which is also the Laurent Sinners coming full circle.
It is the Laurent Sinners. Yeah. Except Sinners, it's like you can literally maul the person and you'll still be a vampire.
Yeah, well, no, it has to be a bite in Sinners.
Yeah. So James bites Bella. They defeat James, but Bella's like now turning, right?
Yeah.
So Carlisle's like, Edward, you have to do it because I'll kill her if I try to suck the venom out. So Edward's like, I've got this. Starts sucking the venom out, and then Carlisle's like, I think you've got it. You got it, Edward. Edward, stop.
Wind it back.
Edward, stop. And then her like I start rolling. That scared me so much as a kid.
Yeah.
I was like, Edward, stop.
Do you know that Kristen Stewart, everyone's like, oh, she looks so gross in that scene. She looks ugly. And there was a lot of like kind of pushback at the time that this actress didn't look beautiful in this moment. I was like, she's literally dying.
She's literally
Give her a break. Kristen Stewart's not there to be pretty. She's very much said she's a serious actress. She was playing the part of a woman who was dying a horrible death.
And then the screen goes to black and we're like, did Edward stop? What happened? And then the next scene is like she's in hospital. She's in a hospital bed and she wakes up and Edward's sleeping on the couch, even though vampires aren't meant to sleep. So I don't know what he was doing there. Was he pretending to sleep?
He was just resting his eyes.
Sounds fake. Sounds performative.
Okay, performative sleeping.
I think he was just nervous to see her. So he was like, I'm going to pretend to be asleep. God. And then Renee comes to hospital to see Bella, her daughter. She obviously cut her honeymoon short. I'm sure she was very upset about that.
She's like, oh, I forgot to look after my daughter because she only died. That's so annoying.
My daughter nearly freaking died.
Again.
Sorry, have to go back to Washington.
Yeah.
Last place I want to be. And then she's like, we bought a new house and this new other place. Come live with us. I want you to live with us. And then Edward's still sleeping on the couch.
Well, yeah, because he's pretending to be asleep so that Renee and Bella can have their private moment.
It makes sense.
Okay. I wouldn't. I would have been wide awake.
And Bella has broken legs and broken limbs and everything from the throw. So
she's got a moon boot on.
Yeah. So she's in a bad spot. And that's when Edward like wants to not be with her anymore, pretty much, right? Because she's so badly hurt. And she was like, no, I want to be with you anyway.
Yeah, and then he takes her to prom.
Yeah. Let's talk about the prom.
Which is like a nice apology, I guess.
And then they go to prom and they have this. There's almost this moment that Edward is kind of like leaning Bella down and she thinks that he's going because she's already made the decision that she wants to be a vampire.
Yeah.
Which I understand.
Even though Jacob tried to interject, he also came to prom.
Yeah.
And he was like, dump him. And she was like, no. And then Jacob's like, all right. And then he leaves.
She's talking a big game for a woman who's wearing a gross prom dress with a cardigan over it.
Yeah, your boyfriend nearly killed you.
And that too.
Yeah.
I was more upset with the cardigan.
But I liked how they get in and they're like, we're too cool for this. Let's go outside.
Yeah.
And then they had that like slow dance moment outside, which is also similar to Cinderella's story, which is also similar to Casper and Wendy.
And also the original Casper love story. That's the thing. At the end of the day, I think Catherine Hardwicke was trying to make this like indie drama, and she did to an extent. But at the end of the day, it is still a teen romance, and that's why it had to finish at prom with them having a dance and having this moment. And Edward pretending to bite her neck, hilarious. And then her like accepting death in that moment, even though she's 17, has no idea what's happening. Yeah. And then Edward saying that he wasn't going to bite her, but they were going to continue to be together.
Oh, what a little tease.
Yeah, it's very exciting. And then the stakes are so high because then we cut to Victoria right?
Yeah.
And she's the last thing we see with her iconic red hair. And then that actress was replaced by Bryce Dallas Howard. Brutal. Movies are brutal.
But Bryce Dallas Howard is great.
She was great, but they then, once the movie blew up in such a huge way, then all of a sudden they're like, well, we have a bigger budget. We're going to hire bigger actors. We're going to have bigger sets. And that's when it became this whole big glossy franchise and people were replaced. But yeah, Twilight, what a trip down memory lane.
Oh my God. I want to watch it again, even though I just watched it last week.
There's never enough.
There's never enough.
Never enough Twilight.